at how we assess this process, so it's nice and clear and everybody understands how we assess it. So people can have differing degrees of success, even if they are, in inverted commas, following the same process or same procedures. And there are lots of reasons for this. However, it almost always boils down to not following the plan and or the delivery. Okay, and the delivery is really, really important, because you can have you could have somebody go through the process exactly as it's written, but in a very monotonous, completely uninterested way, and they won't do particularly well at it. It's like a waiter comes up to you in a restaurant, they kind of smile and how are you today, and they're interested and kind of enthusiastic, and it tends to be a better experience than somebody just kind of waddles over and oh, here's today's specials, what would you like, etc., etc. So you'll be given adequate training and guidance on how to approach this process, and we will role play and test this out before you go live with real customers. This is to help us iron out kinks and make mistakes in practice, not live situations, not waste opportunities that are costly both financially and to people's morale, and then get comfortable with the process as a whole. Okay, this will be done with some theoretical learning and then with active participation in learning the skill itself. The quickest way to learn how to do this well is to practice it, get reasonably comfortable. Okay, we don't spend too long just kind of faffing around practicing it, and then record the entire process on video so others can provide constructive feedback. Okay, that's the accountability mechanism or tool that we use here. You're going to practice this stuff, but then on X date, you're going to go through this live, and there's going to be a video camera recording, the video and the audio. That's uncomfortable. Okay, now it shouldn't be, mind-bendingly uncomfortable and make you nauseous, but it needs to be uncomfortable enough for you to, I suppose, give this the what's the word? The credence that is not the right word that it deserves. Okay, in all my years of doing this, nothing speeds up the process like having it videoed and played back. Okay, this bridges the gap between what we all, myself included, perceive we are doing and what we are actually doing. Okay, and it often looks and feels really, really different. Okay, from there, the next step is to give you a reasonable chance to sell to active customers through assigning you calls and appointments. This is done in as random a way as possible to ensure fairness, and it will be reviewed every 10 leads. Okay, so you'll get, for argument's sake, 10 leads, and we'll get to a point where we can safely assume that those leads have been exhausted, and then we look at what happened. Okay, so we're going to track what happened with those appointments in comparison to our peers, and then in comparison to industry averages. Now, this is far from perfect, as the sample size is way too small, but it is as good as we can do. Okay, and it's like most things in life, it's a reasonable compromise. What we're trying to get a handle on is a trend, okay, as opposed to just absolute performance. Here's an example. If you've been given 20 leads, or I've been given 20 leads, and I've sold one, but on average, we are seeing peers and other facilities using this system selling, or closing at around about 30%, or they would have sold 6 or 7, then it is reasonable to think something is amiss, or you have been incredibly unlucky. Now, it's not as simple as we just go, look, he had 10, he sold 1, that's the end of it, because you can, and this does happen, and I have experienced this myself, you can have a situation where you don't sell anything. You have 9 or 10 in a row, and then you sell where nothing, they don't buy, they don't become a customer, and then you sell 4 in a row. So, what we're, like I've said, and I'm repeating myself, so apologies, we're going to look at a trend of what's happening. Okay. From there, depending on what's happening, we'll provide more training and reassess. If somebody is consistently struggling to do this after additional training, after some role playing, and after, some kind of earlier interventions, what we then look at is adding in a workout part to the process. Okay, so this can be a great way to give someone or someone's client a chance to experience personal training and hopefully improve the coach's sales success. And then I have a couple of notes there in terms of how we would do that with the minimum amount of space being taken up. But that's how we do it. It's all done very fairly. It's all done in a very kind, sort of decent way. We want you to be comfortable doing what you're doing, but at the same time, the company as a whole has a requirement that that leads that are coming in and time, energy, money, and effort that's being put into acquiring those leads, are being, we're making the best use of those leads, and also that you're making the best use of your time here. Some people simply do not like doing this stuff, but I'm always hesitant to have somebody decide they don't like doing it until they've actually really given it a decent go and a decent try. Okay, so that's how we'll assess it and go from there.